the PlayStation Portal has a 7%
Heck yeah.
attach rate.
Heck yeah.
7%? That is crazy.
That is an insane number. And so it comes out to, what is that, 2 million? Did I link? I know
Roughly,
I
yeah.
Yeah, so roughly 2 million. So even in that number, it's higher than what I was thinking. I think, well, no, maybe we said higher before. But either way, 7% of people that own a PS5 also own a PS Portal is just a wild number to consider.
Right, because it's an accessory. It's not its own thing. And it's like, how much was it? It was 300? 200? 250?
200, right?
200. Yeah. See, I don't remember because I bought one and it didn't work, so I sent it back, and then I never bought another one because I was so disappointed that the one that I got was broken, and mostly I bought it for a video. But this is again from Matt Piscatella. He says 49% of PS5s and 66% of Xbox S Series S. Is that Xbox Series S or Xbox Series? I think it's Series, right?
I didn't see that tweet, so I've got to look it up. Hold on.
It's in the link in the show notes from Resetra.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I found it. Okay, cool. XBS, Xbox Series. Yeah, Xbox Series.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
So 49% of PS5 and 66% of Xbox Series hardware sales in 2025 did not include a physical media drive. I have something to say about that in a second.
Yeah.
13% of PS5 purchases in 2025 were of Pro models, and PlayStation Portal now has a 7% attach rate to PS5 hardware LTD?
Yeah, life to date.
Life to date, okay.
Yep.
And I think that is super interesting. So let's first talk about the PlayStation Portal 7% attach rate, which is way higher than I anticipated. Rich, how often do you use your PlayStation Portal? And do I need to buy one?
Honestly, not a lot, but that's just because I don't play a lot of PlayStation, right? Like I have the PlayStation exclusives. So like as soon as I do one day buy the Demon Souls remake, eventually, like I've been waiting to buy that. I don't know what I've been waiting for, but when I buy that, I'm going to pull back out the Portal because that's probably where I'm going to play it. Even though there is, that low latency requirement, you're probably not going to want to play that streaming, but I will still try. When I was playing Spider-Man 2, I was playing that on the Portal. When I was playing Ratchet and Clank, I was playing that on the Portal. So I really like the Portal. I think it's awesome. I think that, how like with the Steam Deck, with the Legion Go, with all of these Windows devices, there's actually been a bit of a like sentiment from a lot of handheld folks that like, oh, we need to go back. We need to go back to handhelds being pocketable, right? I don't know if you've seen that, like on, I don't know,
no.
timing. Yeah. So like some people
I don't want a smaller handheld. I want a bigger. I want an 8-inch screen.
Same. So like I understand where they're coming from, but that's not how I feel. However, when I think of the future of big handhelds, I think of PS Portal. Like I think if I got a Steam Deck that was the size and the ergonomics of the PS Portal, I would buy that in a hot second. 100%.
Are you saying that the PS Portal is more comfortable in the hand than the Steam Deck?
Yes.
Really?
It is. It feels like a DualSense with a screen in the middle.
Yeah, but the Steam Deck is the most comfortable device I think I've ever held in my hand.
You need to rebuy the Portal. The Portal beats it in terms of comfort, and it's a bigger screen, and it's lighter. It's excellent.
Okay. It's only $200.
I think that is what a lot of, because there were a lot of detractors for the PS Portal. I was one of them before it was released, right? I was a big detractor of the PS Portal. And I think when you're, a lot of folks kind of clamor for these like objective reviews, objective game reviews, objective hardware reviews, where you only focus on like the stats. And I get how people feel that way. But when you do that, you miss what makes the the PS Portal special, which is literally, it just melts into your hands. Like you don't realize you're holding a handheld. In my mind,
I don't believe that there is such a thing that exists that is an objective review.
No, that's
Everything
also
is
true.
subjective.
You're right. That's also true. There's no such thing as an objective review. There are
Okay.
things that focus more on objective details than subjective details, but you're right. There's no actual such thing as an objective review.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we move on, let's look at the other stats here because I had something else to say about this. It said 49% of PS5s did not include a physical media drive. Now, I was going to look this up before the show, but my wife asked me to go pick up the pizza, so I forgot. And so I got home and we ate dinner, and then I came up here to record the show, and I didn't look it up. Remind me, or maybe you know, the new PS5s, the PS5 Slim and the PS5 Pro, they don't come with a disc option. You have to buy the disc option separately, right?
That's correct. As far as I know,
Okay.
the Slim and the Pro, you both need to buy the disc separate.
Okay, and I will admit that the disc add-on is difficult to get your hands on. Like they don't make a whole lot of them. They're pretty constrained supply. 49% of PS5s ship without a disc, without the disc system in it. I think that number is soft. I think that there's more discs out there than that because I don't see anywhere in Circana's reporting that says how many of the add-on drives were sold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll also say, like, 50% of PS5s that were bought with a physical media drive. I think only shows that we would like to continue having the option available, right? Like that's a lot of people that do have a drive built into the console. So I don't look at that as a small number that still have the built-in drive. I look at that as a large number and enough reason to continue offering the option. I also don't mind the option being an add-on. I think that's fine too, assuming reasonable supply. But I think generally speaking, just having the option is a benefit for folks. And I don't think it costs, Sony virtually anything in the long run to do that, is my thought.
Yeah, well, here's the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I feel like if you asked Microsoft and you asked Sony and you asked Nintendo and you asked any company out there, would you prefer their digital sales or physical sales? They would all prefer digital sales because they get more control. You can't resell your games. Yeah. There's just all kinds of things that are more of a benefit to the corporation than it is to the consumer. And so this is why I say this as somebody who could not care less about having physical media for me. I want physical media to be out there for everybody else, but I don't care about it for me. I don't buy physical media if I don't have to, because I don't want to have that plastic crap in my house. My house is too small. I don't want to have all that stuff. So I'm saying this as somebody who does not care about physical media. I think that these companies are doing this like this kind of thing on purpose. By taking it out of there, it makes it easier for them to report to shareholders and to use it as a line when they announce that the next system or the system after that won't have physical media at all. They're going to say, hey, look, only half of the people who were buying them bought them with the disc. Clearly, you guys don't care about the discs, even though I think that number is not accurate because there's people who are buying it and then buying the disc add-on afterwards. And it just, like, I know it's a little conspiratorial of me, but when I look at that number,
it's not even like far-fetched of a conspiracy theory, right? Like this is a pretty reasonable like conspiracy theory. And I'll add, you mentioned like you don't know what Matt Piscatella does. Nintendine had a lot to say about Matt Piscatella. Nintendine, when I was talking about him earlier with the Nintendo story, and there were positive words mostly, but the notion was that Circana gets this data from these corporations, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and so it is they are incentivized, let's say, to put these numbers in the best light possible for these corporations. And I think that supports what you're saying.
I don't know that I agree with that, because Valve sent me a Steam Deck, and I wouldn't think of that as incentivizing me to say nice things about the Steam Deck. I'm still honest when I say, you know, there's things about the Steam Deck that I like. There's things about the Steam Deck that I don't like. I don't feel like that incentivized me to say nice things. You know what I mean? We kind of talked about this in the last episode. Oh, you weren't there. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I remember that.
I heard you.
But yeah, I think it's a little bit different here, because I'm not speaking, and I don't think Nintendine was necessarily speaking about Matt Piscatella specifically, but about
Circana.
About Circana, which is a corporation, right?
Yes.
So it's Circana in general, right, is trying to protect their financial interest. You as a reviewer are trying to protect your integrity with your audience. And I think those are two different things.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't. I feel like we were talking about Matt, but we really weren't talking about Matt. We were talking about Circana, the company.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There's still 1,000 stories in our show notes, but we're going to have to move on from those. Let us know what you guys think about the 7% attach rate of PS5 and my little conspiracy theory in the comments. But let's move on to talk about the games that we've been playing, because